Morning, my dear friends. Myself, your botany mentor, yes, Dr. Mukesh Kumar. I'm here under Hortus Botanica. Yes, you all know the dream classroom for all NEET aspirants that will provide you the botany EBAZ, that is studying botany A to Z, topic wise and the chapter wise. Previous time also we have explained about the QSEP, question, solution, explanation up to the perfection, as well as we have motivated you also through NGyan, that is NEET Gyan, what is the required thing for you regarding NEET examinations, motivations, preparations and all. So here today I have come for your more demand regarding plant physiology. Yes, today we are going to start unit 4 of your class 11 in CRT. Yes, this is plant physiology, and today we will start first chapter of plant physiology, that is chapter 11, and this is your transport in plants. Okay, this is a very interesting chapter. You all know from this chapter you will get your 2 questions every year. Mind well. So let's start, my dear. Yeah, see, this is the plant physiology. As I told you, this is the unit 4, and let's see what the plant physiology is. So you all know about plant physiology. This is the physis that come from the Greek word, and that means what? Yes, nature of life. Of course, when you want to know nature of the life, how will you come to know about the nature of the person? Whenever you see their walking style, their action. So when you are going to talk about the nature, nature will be detected only by their action. Changes. Which type of the changes? Yeah, this is the physical changes as well as the biochemical changes. So if what is plant physiology? What is the nature of the life? Yeah, nature of the life of plant is called plant physiology, and it is what? Yeah, nature of the plant life. And it will repeat, it will describe you about physical changes, biochemical changes occurring in the plants. Physical changes. Remember, if you are talking about plant, then what happened? We are talking about water. How this water is taken? Water intake is there. This is absorption of water. How the water is rise from root system to source system. This is your ascent of step. And again, how this water is again losing in terms of the water vapor. Water loss is there, and this process is called transpiration. Again, it will form the cloud, right? And then there will be rain, and the rainwater will form and precipitation will form. Again, they will come to the soil water, and this cycle is being completed. This is the all physical, we can say, movement of the water. So many changes are there, physical changes. But again, this water are being used for the photosynthesis. You all know that for this photosynthesis we take CO2 and H2O, and we are going to synthesize glucose. So the synthesis of glucose is the biochemical process. This is the anabolic process. Similarly, when it will form, it will break down in the presence of oxygen. Again, this is the anabolic process. Anabolism is there. After that, respiration will be there. This is respiration. Catabolism will be there. So first what we have, this is the anabolism. Another we have the catabolism, respiration, and both are the part of the metabolism, and this is under the biochemical changes. Of course, where it is occurring, when you go to study at the whole, then it's a plant. In plant also we can represent their each and every physiological event under cell. That's why cell is also called as the structural and the functional unit of life, isn't it? Yeah. Now let's see. I want to show how the plant is executing their whole physiology, how we understand the nature of the life, nature of the plant life. Let's see the very good animations for you. So see how this seed is. We have, and we found the seed had started the germination. See, the hypocotyl is growing. So this is a epizyeal type of germination. See how they are changing. By this change, whole around the seed, what the atmosphere, it is also going to be changed. See how the roots are arising, lateral roots are arising, primary root will arise, secondary root will arise, tertiary root will arise. As a whole, the root system will be there. And see how now the epicotyle is growing above, and then you will find the embryonic leaf are going to grow, and the, yeah, see how the shoot system has been grown. And then we have the root system, underground system, and above the ground shoot system we have. And this is the whole cylindrical axis and the structure of the plant that depicts the nature of the plant, how they are walking, what the nature of the soil, what the nature of the environment where the soils are present. Sum total of this whole environment will represent you about nature of the plant as well as the surroundings also. So it's a very nutshell, a very good description or introduction about the nature of the plant, how the plant are growing nearby, and how the seed, their rhizospheres are increasing there, isn't it? This is a very good demonstration to understand the nature of the life, isn't it? See how I told you about the root systems, they are how they are growing because they need more water. For that they are growing their root system, and in this way, yeah, meet the father of the plant physiology. Yes, first I will talk about India. Yes, Sir Jesse Bose, Jagdish Chandra Bose, he is the father of Indian plant physiology. But at world level we have the Stephen Hales, who is called as father of plant physiology. He wrote the book Vegetative Statistica, in which he described about the nature of the plant. Whole plant descriptions is there, and you all know about the J.C. Bose. He described about the event is there, that is the pulsation theory in ascent of sap, and he first time told how plant also feel as we feel, as we have the pulse rate. Similarly, plant are also feeling through their pulses, isn't it? And they apply this thing in ascent of sap. We'll go in detail when we study about ascent of sap. Now, yes, my dear, see, in this unit 4 we have the 5 chapters, 11 to 15. First chapter here I will discuss with you transport in plants. As I told you, each chapter comprises 2 question minimum. So 2, 2, 2, 2 and 2, total 5, means 10 to 12 questions are going every year in NEET examination. Okay, so mind well how this is very crucial unit as well as the chapter. Yeah, first lecture, that is the plant physiology, and the chapter is transport in plants. Yes, and first of all I will tell you what we have to study in this chapter, transport in plant. First, diffusion, then special diffusion, that is osmosis, plasmolysis, turbidity, DPD, diffusion pressure deficit, how there is a difference in the DP. Then yes, modern term of DPT, that is water potential, very interesting. First topic it is given in our NCERT. Then we will study about the wilting, then transpiration, absorption of water, ascent of sap, translocation of organic solutes, and absorption of minerals. So we will study one by one all right now. Yeah, so let's see the first topic. We are talking about transport in plant. So first word what we have, yes, it is transport. So transport of what? What we are going to transport? Yeah, first we are going to transport the water. Second, we are going to transport the minerals. Third, we are going to transport the organic substances, as well as fourth one is the hormones. Yeah, first water and minerals we have, and usually they are moving from root to the shoot system in general, and their movement is the unidirectional movement. But when you are talking about the food, that is the organic food, okay, so it may move upward direction, or it may move downward direction, or it may be the lateral direction. That's why we say its movement is multi-directional movement, isn't it? Yeah. So see, if you are talking about a plant we have, and see you have the crown up, so food is synthesized in the top, so it will go down. If you have seed and they are growing, so seed is storing the food and they are growing, they are growing embryo and they are moving upwards. But if you have the food in the node and the very small leaf is there, so they need their movement, and this movement is the lateral movement. So in this way, downward movement, upward movement, and lateral movement. That's why this is the multi-directional movement, isn't it? Similarly, if we'll talk about the hormones, Yeah, hormone execute the polarized movement, target cells is there from which it will move towards that. And this is, yes, very polarized movement. So this is the unidirectional movement. So these are the transport of four important things we have, and how, what should be their mode of direction I told you, isn't it? Now let's see. Yeah, we are talking about the substances. Okay, so substances and the mode of the transport. Yes, if you're talking about the active movement, what happened? Sometimes you are getting the movement from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Okay, and for that, what happened? We do not we use any metabolic energy, that is the ATP. But we have also sometimes we want to move the from the lower concentration to the higher concentration, and that movement is the against the concentration gradient. Mind well, this is the against the concentration gradient, against the concentration gradient. And in this case, what happened? We need the pumping, and for that pumping, what we use? Metabolic energy, that is the ATP is consumed. So whenever ATP is consumed, this is supposed to be the active movement. Always they will go against the concentration gradient, and this is from the low concentration to the high concentration. But when they are going along concentration gradient, along the concentration gradient, it means to say they are moving from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, and this movement is called as the passive transportation. So if the substance is moving, then the mode of transport may be either active or in the passive. This term will be used in whole physiology. So when you will find the active word, think ATP is consumed. Passive, no ATP is consumed. Their movement along the concentration, active movement against the concentration gradient, isn't it? Yeah. Now let's see about the substances. We are talking about the mode of transport. What is the mode? Might be possible the substances is going for the only short distance, or might be possible they are moving long distance. For this long distance, we need the vascular tissues. For water, we need water conducting tissues, and that very water conducting tissues is xylem. And then we need the food conducting tissues, and the food conducting tissues, you know, this is the phloem. Water conducting tissues, yes, we have the xylem, isn't it? So for the long distance, we need the vascular system. That's why you remember we have algae. We don't have the vascular tissues. In bryophyta, we don't have the vascular tissues, but when you are talking about the pteridophyta, yes, we have the vascular tissues. Gymnosperm as well as the angiosperm all have the vascular tissues. Mind well, that's why up to the bryophyta the plants were very short. Very short distance is there. Why? Because they don't have the vascular tissues. How they will transport for the long distance? When we got their vascular tissues and their advancement, then only we were able to supply water and food for the long distance. That's why plant got their height well, isn't it? Improving from the pteridophyta to gymnosperm, and the most diversified and advanced one in the angiosperm. Mind well. Yeah, but when you are talking about the short distance transport, it will occur through, yes, either from the cyclosis or through the diffusion. So in cyclosis, we can understand through two processes. One is the rotation and another one is the circulation. See what it is. So when you are talking about the circulation, see, this is the rotation, and second we have the circulation. Now, suppose if you have a cell, and in a cell you have several vacuoles, and you are finding that in these several vacuoles, what happened? The movement is occurring all around the vacuole. See, we have more than one vacuoles, and the cytoplasmic movement is occurring all around the different vacuoles, and this is called what? Yes, this is called circulation. But when you are talking about the single large central vacuole, then how see the direction is there? Water is moving along this what? The singular central vacuole, and this process is called as the rotation. again I told you this is inside a cell. So we are talking about the single cell movement it is, isn't it? So it is very short distance. Now the first topic what we were waiting, and this is the diffusion. Exactly. So what the diffusion is, yeah, when you are talking about the diffusion, this is the movement of substances. Substances may be gas form, liquid, or the solid, and they move from its higher concentration to its lower concentration. Yeah, just I told you, if they are going from the high to low, then we need not energy. So you can say this is the not active process, rather passive process. First, second, and they will move up to the equilibrium state, and they are not going to be completely stopped. That's why this is called as the which types of the equilibrium? Yes, this is the dynamic equilibrium. And this process, how they are moving from their higher concentration to the lower concentration up to the equilibrium state, this is called diffusions. Very easy definition from NCERT. Yeah, when you talk about the hierarchy of diffusion, then we have the molecules. Molecules are moving in the gas. Molecules are also in solid and gases. So what happened? All molecules have their own free energy, and along with their free energy, they are moving. You all know diffusion is based on the thermodynamics. So what happened when you talk about the thermodynamics? This is based on the second law of thermodynamics. What it states? It states about the free energy present in the molecule of the liquid, solid, and gases. And always this free energy move from its higher concentration to its lower concentration. And they are moving along their kinetic energy, half mv square. Mind well, this is the kinetic energy. So what is their mass and the velocity, sum total of that, they will move, and they will move up to the what? Equilibrium state. So they want to get their equilibrium. They will attain their equilibrium state. So you can say, question may come to you that this diffusion is based on, yeah, it's based on the principle of thermodynamics. Which principle? Yes, second law of thermodynamics, and where we study about the free energy, how the free energy is involved, isn't it? Yeah, so I want to show you the demonstration of diffusion in all the three stages, how it is very fast in gas, then in liquid, and then very less in the solid one. Okay, so have a look. See, this is the gas condition. We have more energy in their molecule, the species more, so they are, see how randomly they are showing their movements. Yeah, see, this is the gases, how the very debris are there. You know, in the summer season when some debris are there, you are feeling the bad smell, fall smell it is. And this is the gas diffusion, it is gaseous diffusion, it is again second example of diffusion. Gas, see how they are moving from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Yeah, so if you are getting little high temperature, that will be, see, the cloud formation is also a very good example of that. No, so smell is example. Similarly, we have the enzyme, body smell, aroma of the flowers we have. Okay, so good fragrance is there. All are the very good example, and smells example of these three things, and these are the examples of the diffusion again, isn't it? Yeah. So I told you how we are getting the very good demonstration of the diffusion. Okay. Now let's see another one thing also I want to show you about the diffusion, how, yeah, see, one more demonstration for you. See, here we have the liquid. See, already we have diffused something, and they are moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So you can see how earlier it was very higher concentration, no, and then they start their movement again. I want to show you. See, yeah, so here see how we are getting the high concentration, and they're moving from high to the low concentration up to, yes, up to the equilibrium state, what I defined you through the language of the NCERT, didn't it? Yeah, so I told you what is diffusion, how it is based on the second law of thermodynamics, then I show you the demonstration, and now we'll talk about the, yes my dear, characteristics of the diffusion. When we're talking about movement of substances, that is diffusion, so it may occur within a cell. I told you within a cell movement is there, rotation is there, cyclosis is there. It may move from one cell to another. Yes, if you have a cell, you have the another cell, the diffusion is going depending upon so many factors. I will discuss you later on. Again, if you are talking about this is a diffusion from organ to atmosphere and vice versa. You remember, if you are talking about leaf, so what happened? Yes, the leaf have their stoma. Stoma means mouth opening. And what happened for their photosynthesis? What happened? They are getting CO2. Yes, CO2 is taken for the photosynthesis. So this is the diffusion of carbon dioxide from atmosphere to organ. And again, if they are going to respire, then they are releasing CO2 during their respiration. During respiration, mind well. So this is the diffusion out of CO2 from organ to atmosphere. So outside we have the atmosphere. This is your organ. Leaf is our organ. So how they are showing their diffusion? Okay, so this is a very good example. Okay, for photosynthesis, CO2 will be taken, and the water if we have, and this water is releasing in the form of the oxygen. Similarly, oxygen is in taken for the respiration, and CO2 is being released out. So these are the exchange of gases between the organ to the atmosphere and the vice versa. So these all are the very good example of the diffusion. Now, second character, I told you they are moving from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, means we need not any ATP, metabolic energy. So it is what? Passive process, right? Second, this is a slow process and independent of living cell. Mind well. If you something is moving, and if they depend upon the living cell depend means to say what? Living cell will provide them energy, ATP, and then only they will execute. But what I told you, we need not the ATP. So if need not the ATP means to say this is a physical movement. So for that we need not the dependency of any living organism. If we need the energy, then only we will depend upon the any living cell that can provide us ATP after the oxidative breakdown of the food, that is respiration. That's why remember this is what? Independent. Sometimes it will write not dependent. Okay, same thing it is not dependent. To say what? It is independent. Same language is there. Now, as I told you, this is very clear, obvious in the gas and the liquid, GAN to the solid, very common, and very important line. This is the only method of gaseous exchanges in plants. Mind well, because in plant, you all know, if you are studying about the gaseous respiration. So in respiration, what happened? Remember, leaf are performing their respiration on. Mind well. Stems are performing their respiration on. Root are performing their respiration on, and these are the only source of their respiration, the gaseous exchanges, my dear. Mind well. Only this is the method diffusion, otherwise plant will die. In animals, what we have? We have the system. We have the organ systems. Organs are attached to each other. They are cooperating. But here what happened? We have these organs. In plant we have the organ, but we don't have the organ system like the animals. Animal have the organ system. In plant we don't have the organ system. That's why these plants have organ, and they have the only method to respire, isn't it? So this is a very important line. Now, what are the factors which is going to affect the diffusion? Yes, remember 4 factors we have that will affect, and that is I used to say, remember GPMT, Gujarat Pre-Medical Test. Okay, just remember a trick is there, GPMT. So G for gradient of concentration, concentration of the will affect either it is the low concentration or the high concentration, how it is. Second, pressure, it will also influence, as well as temperature. Temperature directly proportional to pressure, and vice versa. Similarly, the membrane permeability, was the nature of the membrane, it will also affect the diffusion. Okay, so have a look about the diffusion here. I am showing you. See, the rate of diffusion is directly proportional to GPMT. Always remember 4 factors we have. Okay, so see how we are talking about the C. In one case I am talking about temperature. In the first case, what we have? See, we have used liquid here, and again see their diffusion rate in B. Now in A we also put, and see where the diffusion rate is high. See, A is diffusing very fastly. than to the B. Why? Because the water present in the A is more hot. So temperature is there. Due to high temperature, little more temperature, the rate of diffusion is high. So what it demonstrates? That if the temperature is high, rate of diffusion will be also high. So this is a very good demonstration. So show you the rate of diffusion, isn't it? So remember, not only temperature, pressure will increase, then also the rate of diffusion will also enhance, isn't it? As well as the mass will be there, okay, and like that. So this is a very good demonstration to show you how here I just demonstrated you about the temperature, isn't it? Yeah. So now, my dear, let's ready for one question that is called brain scanner. As usual, this is a question for you, and I will reply you in our next lecture. So this is your question for you, my child. One question after every of my lecture to you. Question is, select the odd one, not correct, odd one statement with respect to the diffusion. First statement, it is slow process, not independent of living cell. It's not a passive process. It's ovation, gas and liquid rather than solid. It is only method of gaseous exchange within plant and animals. So next, this is your question, and I will reply your answer on this YouTube, and then I will answer you in the next lecture. So thank you very much. Okay, now wait for next Sunday. Next Sunday we'll again come to our next lecture for the osmosis. Okay, till then, thank you. Have a nice day. God bless you.